Hello, my name is Alessandro Baronti, President of Derigo RAM. The training topic of today is Optical Retail Apocalypse. We're going to talk during this training about the evolution of our industry. If I make a statement that in the last 5 years our industry went through more changes than in the last 50 years combined together, would you agree to that? You will probably say yes. Why is this happening? What is this evolution? What is this transformation? What are patients expecting of us? I think as a doctor and as an owner of an optometric practice, you have to make a very important decision today. Do you just want to be a great medical doctor? Or do you want to create a memorable experience for your patient, not only in the medical lane, but also in the retail part of your business? Today, if you want to be successful in our evolving industry, you cannot afford just to be a great medical doctor. You have to evolve to become a great businessman, to really run a business that is creating an impactful experience for your patient consumers. Now you can choose to hire somebody that helps you to run your optical operation. You can certainly do that. But I would strongly suggest you to be directly involved with your business. If you just want to be a medical doctor, there is no future in the evolution of the optical industry. And you will not have a practice in the next 5 years if you just want to be a medical doctor. And today there are plenty of private equity company and investment company that are looking to buy your practice if you just want to be a medical doctor. I think it's a decision that you have to make. My goal is to help you to understand how we can help preserve independent optometry in the United States. And this training is designed to give you specific tips on things that you need to pay attention and leverage upon to really be able to create the memorable experience. So if we look at the headlines on what is happening in retail, especially with the department stores business, we're actually seeing an incredible meltdown of closing of stores at a high level. So you really have to think about what do you want to be? Where do you want to project your practice? Do you want to project your practice to be perceived as a practice of the past? Do you want to be compared to a Sears? Do you want to project your practice in the present? Do you want to be perceived as a Macy or a JCPenney? I can tell you're going to be challenged if you do that. Or you want to be the innovator in your marketplace? Do you want to be perceived as the Apple type of, the Apple Store type of concept of the optometric practice of the optical industry? Now, the behavior of consumers is definitely changing, and the main reason why this meltdown is happening is not really due to online behavior type of switching mode of patient. Because if you look at it in our industry, less than 4% of the purchase of optical frames are happening online, and when it comes to sunglasses, it's less than 14%. However, 60% of the consumers search begins on Amazon. That's a stunning type of data. But why this is really happening today is related to the fact that 46 square feet of dedicated retail space for every person in the United States, 46 square feet, compared to the next closest country in UK, which has 9 square feet. So we are in a moment where our market is heavily saturated. However, when it comes to optical, we're not heavily saturated. As a matter of fact, there are markets that they're actually crying for optometrists to really be able to go work in those markets, especially into the rural area. So there is still a lot of opportunity in optometry. However, the opportunity needs to really be linked to a different way of looking at the business, different way of actually running a business operation. So how can we strive in this challenging optical retail environment? And I'm going to talk to you about several factors for you to really pay attention. We're going to talk about speed. We're going to talk about clarity. We're going to talk about personalization, convenience, flexibility, innovation, and in closing, we're going to talk about social media strategy. So let's start with the speed. The average industry delivery time of a complete pair of frame and lenses is 10 days. Now, can patients today wait 10 days? Is the 1-hour service relevant anymore? Study proves that the 1-hour service is actually perceived as not a valuable service. It's almost like a fast food type of service. So people that are seeking for the 1-hour service are willing to compromise the actual quality of the product for the fact that it's served to them in a very fast way. I want it in and out. I don't want to spend a lot of time in that specific environment. And I will not suggest you to go in that direction. You definitely want to be associated to service and quality and professionalism, but the 10 days cannot keep you in business in this kind of fast evolving environment. You really need to have to work on speeding up the process where 3 to 4 days really has to go the goal that you have to aim at. So to be able to deliver that, I strongly suggest you to explore dispensing model solution where you can leverage on efficiency to be able to receive that product faster and for you to be able to deliver that product faster to your patients. Also, I suggest you to invest in a practice lab to edge single vision lenses. I would strongly suggest you to have in stock single vision lenses with AR coating to really be able to provide that same day type of service or even today's type of service. You need to be fast when it comes to that, and you need to leverage on the convenience factor, which, by the way, is the main reason why your patients sometimes choose to go to shop online instead of staying in your practice. The second message is clarity. Consumers are telling us that the overall experience when they visit an optometric practice is overwhelming, confusing, the pricing is convoluted, and vision managed care is complicated. So what are the solutions that we can apply to be able to simplify the entire process and deliver clarity? We need a better product and merchandising, so product can actually speak to an evolving patient consumers, and that can create a connection. We also need to simplify the message with a bundle pricing structure. Let's learn from the number one most destructive company in the industry, which is Warby Parker. We all agree to the fact that they're certainly not selling quality, but we can also agree to the fact that they're actually creating a perception of incredible value, where Warby Parker today is becoming a brand that is accepted, especially by the millennial type of community. The secret of the business model is based on simplicity and clarity. Before you go into that environment, you know exactly that frame and lenses, single vision are $99, progressive lenses, frame and lenses, $229, and prescription sunglasses, frame and lenses, $249. So consumers today have they understand exactly the message, and that's easy for them to embrace. I'm not telling you to duplicate the Warby Parker model, but I would strongly suggest you to definitely have a segment in your practice where you have a bundle pricing option to compete with the module. And I would strongly suggest you to simplify the approach of the rest of your optical dispensary, where I do believe that today we're giving way too many options. Way too many options that a la carte create a lot of confusion. Think about it when you go into a restaurant, and you look at a menu, and how frustrating sometimes can be when you start to add things a la carte. So now all of a sudden you buy a steak, and you start to add all of the add-on. All of a sudden that $40 a steak becomes $70 because all of the different options. Instead of being a bundle concept where it becomes easier to really be able to select with no surprise at the end on a price shock type of concept. Vision managed care is also complicated, and we really need to find a way to simplify that message, where vision managed care now becomes a benefit that it can be applied on every single frame that you have in your optical dispensary as a saving benefit of an average of 40% saving on the price of the material of a frame and lenses. Now the concept now creates an accessibility, a delivery message of accessibility, deliver a perception of wow, now I can actually afford that frame that I always wanted, but I was not be able to access. And now, thanks to vision managed care, now I can actually afford to buy that frame that I always wanted. See, all of a sudden we flip-flop the actual concept. Personalization is a very important message and a very important point of differentiation in our industry. We provide a service that is very unique, personalized, and customized, and we really need to take the time to explain that better to our patient base. It's a huge differentiation also that it can help you to overcome online purchasing behavior. See, your patient needs to understand that frame that you have on the board is just a sample and needs to be personalized and customized with a very specific professional adjustment to meet specific specs and measurements to allow that complete product of frame and lenses to deliver excellent in vision. The lenses have to be specifically cut to meet a specific criteria to fit that frame and to meet a specific alignment and adjustment with A measurements and B measurements to be able to center the vision of the lenses in the perfect proportion of the configuration of the face of your patient when the frame is actually fit and adjusted to the face of your patient. And on the top of that, we need to follow up with that specific patient to make sure that that personalized and customized service is making a difference. So now all of a sudden what we do is becoming very relevant, because not only we help people see better, but now all of a sudden we help people look better. Convenience and flexibility, two very important concepts to project your practice to the next level. To address this specific need, I suggest you to implement three different solutions. The first one is related to convenience. It's about omni-channel solution. Omni-channel means providing an environment in which your patient can feel and touch the product on the board, but they can also move into a digital experience by exploring a different option of product, of colors and sizes into a digital device, where that creates that concept of the infinite aisle, where your inventory is moving from 600, 800 units to 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever you want it to be. It's a digital world. That is really creating that convenience type of factor. And if you don't have that, for some of your patients, that may be such a limitation that they will pull out their own device and they're going to start to look at product online because they cannot find what they feel is convenient for them. See, this has nothing to do with what we think and what is relevant to us. It has everything to do with what is relevant to your patient base and what they're seeking for. Also goes along with flexibility, being flexible enough to adapt different type of solution that probably are not relevant for us. One of which is after hours pickup. What does that mean? Well, think about your hours. You're open probably every day. Most of you are open probably 4 days a week. Some of you guys maybe 5 days a week. You probably open early in the morning and probably close at 5:30, 6:30. You maybe have 1 day a week that you're open after hours. Is that convenient enough? Probably not for somebody like me that has a very active type of lifestyles. and I cannot come and pick up my frame at 5:30 or 6 o'clock or at 4:30, which is convenient for you, but is not convenient for me. So provide me a solution. Give me an option. Don't make a decision for me. At least ask me if I'm open to that. When Amazon implemented the after hours pickup type of concept, the drop box, that was such an innovative concept that most of us thought, what are they doing? What are all of those things that they're installing outside of the grocery store? And it will never work, right? That's what we said 10, 15 years ago. And look at where we are today. You can buy something online, it can be delivered to you. Amazon, they just implemented a drone delivery system. Yeah, you heard me correctly. You order an item that is delivered to your house with a drone. Imagine that. We are in the future already, right? So this after hours pickup, this drop box with this drone delivery system are a reality today. Let's think outside the box, right? What about home delivery? Who are we to prejudge our patient and say it cannot be done? If it could not be done, patients will not be shopping online today. Of course, there is a need for a professional adjustment, right? But let's not that be the limitation to prevent us from doing that. Why don't you give me an option as a patient? Why don't you wow me if it's relevant to me with an home delivery? Alessandro, would you like to pick up your frame this week? We're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 5, and on Wednesday we're open until 7 o'clock. Oh, Susie, unfortunately I work every night until 7, but I really need that frame of mine. Alessandro, what about if we do a home delivery for you? Oh, you know, Susie, that would really work for me. Now you have an opportunity to really wow me. Send me that frame at home. Send it to me in a beautiful packaging with a very nice handwritten note. And why don't you put in that box a nice cleaning cloth and a little spray for me to clean that frame? Now you're really going to wow me and allow me to come and see you when it's convenient for me for a professional adjustment. Convenience and flexibility. Of course, innovation is the key in this fast evolving medical retail environment. Creating a state-of-the-art medical destination with state-of-the-art medical equipment is important. But you also want to underline and highlight this huge investment that you made. What good is going to do to your patient base if you have $1 million plus of medical equipment in your practice and your patient don't know or don't understand that? So we need to create a clear message to be able to enable your patient to understand why do you have each equipment, what each equipment does, how can this specific equipment can actually enhance the medical experience of your patients. I strongly suggest to build the training to be able to empower your staff in less than 10 seconds to be able to explain to the patient before they are subjected to a treatment using a specific equipment, to be able to do a 10 seconds storytelling and highlight of that specific device and why you have it in your practice. Innovation is also a digital catalog, as we discussed before, to create that innovative experience to move from the feel and touch to the digital experience, which is relevant. Maybe not relevant for me, but I can tell you that for my daughter Jacqueline, it's a must. If we go into a retail environment that there is no digital interaction, she gets disconnected. She will pull her phone and she will have a digital interaction in her phone. And at that moment where your patient are having a digital interaction in their own device, you're really toast because they're shopping you online already. A digital education lens center, moving from the old-fashioned traditional lens center built in an optical dispensary, translating all of that incredible message into a digital device where you can do all kinds of stuff by completely engaging your patient into a full digital experience to be able to explain something that is very complicated, which is lenses, and translate that message in a very simple way through interaction. Digital measurements, which is connected to the last point, which is smart mirror, to really be able to do the measurements in a way that is so advanced, leveraging on the power of a specific device, that they create that on beyond type of experience, right? Now we're elevating the engagement of the patient in something that is just more than a specific traditional way of measuring. So you want to measure traditionally, and you want to double check with a specific device. Convenient touchscreen digital interface throughout the optical dispensary. I really imagine this in looking at your practice as a store in the future, right? And all of a sudden you have an incredible medical practice with a state-of-the-art medical equipment and a very interactive type of optical dispensary with product try-on technology and smart mirror in the optical dispensary. Social media strategy. This is the new word for word of mouth. In the old days, we used to go to a restaurant, we used to go to a store, we used to have an experience, and we used to tell to our friends and family about the amazing experience that we had. That was word of mouth. All of this experience today travels to social media. It gets amplified by thousands. And now all of a sudden, social media becomes a vehicle of promoting an experience that can really boost the awareness of what you're doing in an incredible way. Are you using social media? Are you promoting your business on social media? Are you communicating with your patient consumers with social media? I would really like for all of you to answer those questions. And if you do not think that social media is relevant, I'm going to ask you to watch this video, and then we'll talk about it in a second. I really believe that this video is extremely telling and inspiring, and I hope that it moved you into really think outside the box and to implement today a social media strategy to take your practice to the next level. I hope you found this training useful, and I hope you're going to take just a couple of things away from it and implement it today to really be able to take your practice to the next level. Thank you.